interest and personality together and taking advantage of the latest technologies, making robust and useful prediction for the students. It will help the students to identify their path, cater their personal development plan or educational development plan or career development plan in a more better, robust manner. And
so this was a short description about the importance of the aptitude, personality, and interest. So eMango Education, that is education management on the go. We have come up with the technology-based platform. When I say technology, is the mixture of psychology, technology, and of course human intervention, wherein we try to address a problem, current problem. The problem is that the conventional ways of choosing the career right now are not the best ways. अभी अपने फैमिली में किसी से कंसल्ट कर लिया, और या कोई भैया अच्छा करा है किसी करियर में तो वो कोर्स कर लिया, या इंजीनियर तो बन नहीं जाओ उसके बाद देख लेना कि क्या करना है. These are the conventional ways that are currently taken up by the students to choose their career. Now, what is the better ways that a student must first explore the career, all the careers, or anyone who is guiding the student must explore all the careers, give a psychometric assessment to find out what is the best fit career. And once best fit careers are shortlisted, what is the path, what are the colleges, exams, and all available to reach at the epitome of that career. So this is a small technology platform that we have come up with it, and this is in the beta version right now. We want to empower the schools and want that everything that I'm just going to show in 2 minutes must happen from the school's own websites and dashboards. Students should not go here and there on Google, search the unauthentic information, maybe lie in the trap of the admission agents. Everything should happen from the school's own website. This platform should. A student can explore career. We are having a career library of more than 400 careers. All the details about the career. कि इसके लिए क्या स्किल सेट्स चाहिए, इसका फ्यूचर प्रोस्पेक्ट्स क्या है, इसकी सैलरी क्या है, इसका पाथ क्या है, क्या काम करने पड़ते हैं, कौन से टॉप कॉलेजेस हैं, कौन से कोर्सेज करने पड़ते हैं, कौन से एंट्रेंस एग्जाम्स देने पड़ते हैं अक्रॉस द ग्लोब, कि कौन करियर की स्पेशलाइजेशन क्या है, किन इंडस्ट्रीज में हम काम कर रहे हैं, बच्चा काम करेगा आगे चल के, और इसके पास पिछले 3 साल में इसकी नंबर ऑफ जॉब्स कैसी रही हैं, एंट्री लेवल, मिडिल लेवल, सीनियर लेवल पे सैलरी क्या होती है, क्रॉस द ग्रुप सैलरी क्या होती है, फेमस पर्सनालिटी कौन सी है इस करियर की. All this information should be available to anyone who is guiding the student. Now after that, student should give the test to find out the question. अक्सर बच्चों से पूछा जाता है कि आप क्या बनना चाहते हैं बड़े होके. तो a psychometric assessment can help the student to find out कि वो क्या बनना चाहता है. Once he knows through psychometric assessment what are the best fit career, information about the various colleges for that career in different parts of the world. वो अगर हरियाणा में पढ़ना चाहता है तो हरियाणा में कौन से कॉलेजेस हैं, वो उसको साउथ में पढ़ना है, तेलंगाना में पढ़ना है, तेलंगाना में कौन से कॉलेजेस हैं. ठीक है, उसके बाद नॉट ओनली कॉलेजेस कौन से हैं, कॉलेज की रैंक क्या है, प्लेसमेंट क्या है, उसके लिए एग्जाम्स क्या देने हैं, वो कॉलेज कौन से कोर्स ऑफर करता है. राइट, अगर मुझे लग रहा है कि ये कॉलेज मेरे लिए ठीक है, मुझे यहाँ अप्लाई करना चाहिए, तो a student can shortlist this college, and as soon as the student shortlist this college, ये उसकी एक विश लिस्ट में जाके ऐड हो जाए कि ये मेरी विश लिस्ट है, और वहां से उसको पोर्टल ऑटोमेटिकली नोटिफिकेशन भेजे जब उसके एग्जाम, जैसे ही कोई फॉर्म ओपन हुआ है या फॉर्म क्लोज होने वाला है, तो उससे एक हफ्ता पहले ऑटोमेटिकली नोटिफिकेशन जाना चाहिए, सो दैट स्टूडेंट डजंट मिस ऑन द important deadlines of this. Similarly, he can explore the exams, all the exams in India and overseas. He can shortlist the exams too, ताकि एग्जाम की भी कोई डेडलाइन मिस ना हो. अपने प्लान्स के अंडर वो उसके लिए सजेशन हो, स्पेशली जो पोर्टल टेक्नोलॉजी, एआई, आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस एंड मशीन लर्निंग के थ्रू पोर्टल ऑटोमेटिकली उसको सजेशंस देगा कि दीज आर द सजेस्टेड कॉलेजेस एंड एग्जाम्स फॉर यू. वो सारे शॉर्टलिस्ट करके अपनी विश लिस्ट में डाल ले. वो किसी काउंसलर के साथ कनेक्ट करना चाहे तो काउंसलर से कनेक्ट करे, उसकी जो भी बात हुई है काउंसलर से वो उसके सेशंस में रिकॉर्डेड रहेगी. ठीक है, उसके बाद जो भी उसकी असेसमेंट्स दिए हैं, द असेसमेंट should be here as well. And this is the first time in the world that it is happening that psychometric assessment which is for career counseling is being converted into video game. क्योंकि ये बच्चे इस एज ग्रुप के टेक्स्ट बेस्ड टेस्ट देना पसंद नहीं करते हैं, तो वी आर कन्वर्टिंग इट इनटू वीडियो गेम with the under the this collaboration with IIT Delhi R&D department. The student will actually be playing a video game, and at the back end, a psychometric assessment would be going on. And once again, everything should happen from the school's own website, जहाँ पे स्कूल की वेबसाइट पे एक लिंक हो करियर्स को लेके, वहां पे बच्चा क्लिक करे, लॉग इन करे अपने डैशबोर्ड पे, and all the things he should be able to do. और स्कूल के पास भी एक डैशबोर्ड हो अपना, जहाँ से वो ऑब्जर्व कर सके कितने बच्चों ने टेस्ट दिया है, कौन से बच्चे ने कौन से करियर शॉर्टलिस्ट किया है, या साइकोमेट्रिक असेसमेंट के अकॉर्डिंग कौन से बच्चे के लिए कौन सा करियर बेस्ट फिट निकल के आया है. So this is a small platform, as I said. This is what I needed to show. I will not go deep into the technology because technology is being used again and again, and we are short of the time. Rajul, I understand your condition too, so I'm just passing it over to you. Thank you.
Right. Absolutely, absolutely. That's what we call optimum utilization of 10 full minutes. So thank you, Nitin, for that. And now, time for the questions. I would request all our speakers, if I may present these questions which we have received to you, all for your comments and perspective. And before I start presenting these questions, I'll just take a minute in explaining what exactly we have been doing at Schoolology Solutions. So I'll share my screen for 1 minute, and then we'll immediately start sharing questions with you all. Some of you are already aware with Schoolology Solutions. We are India's largest one-stop solution platform. We are present in 42 cities. We are working with 4,500 plus institutions. We help educational institutions in three ways. We help educational institutions in buying the right thing from right people at right price. We also help institutions in selling their old items like their old buses, generators, their furniture. We also help institutions in raising money, that may be in terms of fee financing or loans. Why there is a need for a platform like Schoolology Solutions? You already have your old suppliers, your team is expert, you already getting good discount, at least you believe that. Your team is efficient in negotiating. So why you need a platform like Schoolology Solutions? Two main reasons. One, in last 10, 12 years, there are thousands of companies have new companies have come up into education. They are offering wonderful product and services. So it's very difficult for school leaders, like Thangodurai sir or Aditya sir, to meet and explore all those products and services available. So sometimes our team also lack those expertise in exploring all the product, all the services available. So here we come into the picture. We understand your school, we understand your taste, we understand your actual requirement. Accordingly we talk to different companies, we negotiate with them. Then we connect those tried, tested and credible companies with you, for the further exploring. These are different areas where we are offering our support to educational institutions: smart class procurement, uniform, insurance, diesel, solar plant, language lab, security solutions, furniture, recruitment, music classrooms, healthcare, robotics, STEM, STEAM labs, career counseling, stationery, digital marketing, IT solutions, educational tour, janitor, learning tools, and finance. We take the guarantee that we'll save at least your 5 to 7% of your annual expenditure. So that's kind of a 5% additional revenue generation. Just one example, we save 2 crore 40 lakh rupees for different schools in one category only, that is bus insurance in 2019. Some major highlights by Schoolology Solutions: 8 megawatt plus solar installation, 3,000 plus bus insurance, 400 plus smart classrooms, 2,000 plus cameras, 350 plus training programs, 56 old buses, uniform in 42 schools. By the end of 2021, we aim to reach out to 10,000 institutions. We need your support, your guidance, your blessings. So with this, I'll start presenting questions. I would request Thangodurai sir, if I may present the first question to you.
Yes.
Right. Sir, this question has come from Miss Rupa Lakshmi VC. She's a faculty with Genesis, Global School, Noida.
Mm-hmm.
So, Rupa Lakshmi's question says, how subject choices going to help students for higher studies, and how university is going to grade them?
See, when you study the concept and the doctrine of 21st century learning skills, one component is choice, flexibility. I think with this advent of technology, and I think Mr. Aditya had also rightly said there would be so many options, so many choices. Uh, Earlier, CBSE had a few specific subjects. Of course, they talk very loud about so many options they give, but that's not enough when you think of the child's expectation, his talent, and how he want to explore. So, subject choices now, if it is integrated and aligned with technology, uh, they would have a wide spectrum, and in that way, technology would is come as a boon for students who want to have a choice of their career.
Right. Thank you, uh, Thangadurai sir, for that. I'll come back to you. Now I would request Aditya sir. Aditya sir, this question has come from Miss Sangeeta Vasist ji. Sangeeta ji is HOD Commerce with the Man School, Delhi. The question says, what would be the impact of vocational integration of vocational education in schools in coming time? So let's say, what are your readings? Let's say for 5 years from now or 10 years from now.
Um, yeah, thank you for that question. You know, Thangadurai sir very briefly mentioned, and I'll also take it forward from there that look, today we are teaching and skilling our children for a very, very uncertain future. Very uncertain future. Again, this pandemic has taught us how easy it is for people to dispense away with jobs. There has been there has been so many layoffs. There's been so many retrenchments. So there are jobs, and job providers are realizing there are certain things that can be actually done by machines better than human beings with more productivity, saving time, saving money. So that is one aspect which all schools, all teachers have to remember. Now, there are jobs which will always be important, and there has to be a human at the other end for finishing that job. You know, that is why people are talking so much about the four C's, basically the critical thinking, the cooperation and collaboration and communication, because these are things which will always be in demand. There will be always something up the sleeve for people who are skilled in these four domains. In the same breath, vocational training is here to stay. Fashion designing is here to stay. You know, people's fashion concepts will change, but you cannot have a robo designing for me. You know, similarly, people are good on woodwork, people good on electronics. Today, you know, you can find a professional very easily to make a website for you, but it's very difficult for you to find a good person who can come and do your AC. You have to ask him, call him up, get into a thing, note down your complaints, and then probably after a day or two, he will come. Why? Because we have not given enough emphasis on these kind of vocations. And
Right.
it's wonderful to see CBSE, though, yes, I agree with Agadurai, sir, that there's lot put on paper. Is it going down to the school? Because I don't know whether it is hip or whether it is in fashion, but definitely schools have to consider putting it in their curriculum, putting resources in it, so that children learn these vocations to help them in good stead. They may become engineers and doctors, but let them have another side to them. It will come in handy at a point of time.
Right, right. And before I go to Chetna ji, I have a supplementary question for Aditya ji and for Thangodurai sir. Aditya sir, I'll come to you first. Chetna ma'am also talked about these vocational programs. Students are learning carpentry, students are learning, those basic woodwork. But how difficult it would be to implement? How like a lot of educators have raised these things, like how they are going to manage resources, how they are going to find trainers for those things. 10 days vocational training. So Aditya sir, your quick comment.
That is where an industry interface with the school or industry interface with education will always help. I know, for instance, that Hero has interface with a few schools, and they send their trained mechanics once in a while to these schools to train children. And children are also taken to the firms to understand how
Aditya
the
sir,
trained people. Yeah,
that can be worked upon if, let's say, 25 students or 10 students from a school are visiting Hero Honda
yeah,
factory.
yeah,
But let's say
yeah.
2,000 students, or let's say 1,500 students from a school.
Right. Look, where there is a will, there is a way. Today, if CBSE mandates that you have to have a vocational training, so the schools have to plan it. If you have said maths, schools have planned for maths. If you have said science or English, you have mandated for it. Again, vocational training is important. Yes, I do agree that trainers, finding that kind of trainers who are good at teaching also. Remember, it is okay to be a good trainer, but a good carpenter or a good theater personality. Necessarily, that carpenter or a theater personality is not a good teacher, because anyone who is good in a profession necessarily doesn't become a good teacher. We have to find out, and elementary training is possible.
It is possible to offer that
Yeah,
taste to students. It is possible, right? So now
absolutely, absolutely.
yeah, right. So I'll present the same question to Thangadurai sir. Sir, it looks very beautiful, in the paper, that students are going to learn those skills. A lot of people have said that it would increase dignity of labor. It would raise that part. And Aditya sir, I completely agree with him that we don't have qualified these people, like I would say those skilled labor. So, what is your assessment? How difficult or how challenging it would be?
The hard fact is that schools are not interested in introducing this vocational training for two reasons. One, the parental interest in such activities is hard to come. Second, as you already said, the trainers for this will have to be recruited as an additional faculty or a guest faculty or faculty or a part-time teacher. It adds on to the institutional cost. On an economical viability, yes, no, no school would like to introduce. But as NEP has brought in this concept of experiential learning, I mean, we have to trigger that in the base level instead of taking it in a very big way. How to create that interest among the students? Well, Mr. Aditya talked about industrial interface. I will talk about how they could go for a field trip and go to this as an integral part of their uh, visit to different factories or establishments, see for themselves, and probably they would trigger some kind of an interest. First of all, the interest has to come into the mind of a child, and then he will find his way to find if he is really interested in fashion designing or interested in carpentry, of course, which is quite, carpentry can be also a very big industry in terms of furnitures. uh, if he finds that these are very interesting and that triggers an interest in him, I think he would find a way, and there are so many options available now. It's not always necessary to be within the purview of the school. We can go beyond that. They have to go beyond the boundary to explore certain creative and experiential learning. So, I would say that somewhere the school should see that this interest is triggered, then probably certain things will shape up. Now, for example, uh, Mrs. Malhotra, sorry,
Is
Mrs.
Chetna
Chetna,
Malhotra? Chetna
uh,
Malhotra.
Mrs. Chetna had said about theater in education. It's a great concept. And of course, way back around, long back when I was teaching English in ICSE school, Shakespeare's plays were an integral part of the curriculum. Shakespeare plays are not to be taught, it has to be enacted. And children can't understand the verses, we cannot explain them. We have to. So, dramatization helped me a lot in creating the interest. So, once the interest is there, you'll find children coming out to perform in school theaters. So, the trigger the interest in the child, like a seedling, and I think things will shape up. We'll start with a humble beginning.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, thank you for that. I'll come back to you both. Now, I would request Chetna ji, if I may present this one to you. You know, you are a person with a strong visualizing power. So, I would request with this question, how do you visualize the picture of future schools in India? Let's say, what do you think, like schools of 2035 or schools of 2040? Chetna ji.
Well, I think we all move and we all want a very utopian space, एक बहुत ही harmonious and peaceful space हम सब चाहते हैं. But I think to kind of as what Dr. Thangadurai ji said, to humble beginning, I feel a school space which I have probably experienced. मैं अपने स्कूल से 5 बजे घर जाती थी. I never wanted to go back from my school. We had spaces to play hockey, football, and it was a very gender agnostic school. मैं हॉकी की कैप्टन भी थी और मैं कथक डांस में प्राइज भी लाती थी. So I had teachers, principals, school leaders, and most important जिसकी बात हम नहीं कर रहे हैं अभी थोड़ा mention हुआ, are the parents. The stakeholders, very important are the parents, because I think the parents also come up with a lot of expectations which kind of moves to the schools and teachers, school leaders, and eventually on the child. So all these four very important pillars of leaders, teachers, child, and the parents have to work together. So a school which gives you a space to carve out, because these are the only years that you get to taste what you can explore. Maybe grade 1 to 5 children explore theater, music, literacy, movement, outside environment, visits, so that they kind of cultivate the taste and then get into the round of elimination later. Okay, I'm gonna choose theater, I'm gonna lose not do physics later. And a school which I think is very gender agnostic in its approach, because that's the future of our society too, because from the micro classrooms is the macro boardrooms. That's what we do here is what we do in the boardrooms when we work with corporates too, and we do a lot of work around unconscious biases that we get at our workplaces in gender, rural urban biases that people get in their workplaces, hierarchy biases. So what happens here will happen there. So a space which kind of also values each stakeholder. So the teacher, जो हम बोलते थे ना, doctor or teacher एक noble profession है, so kind of get that back and get that reverence towards the child too, because child भी एक noble is a noble person, though he's 5 inches lesser than you, but the child's voice to be amplified, to be listened to. I think when a child speaks, because in our theater session, a lot of children have come in with a lot of dislike towards teachers, parents, and they speak a lot of their traumatic experiences that they've had in our theater sessions, and that has become a space for psychological healing. So I think I visualize a school where children and teachers are playing together games, are studying together, and it's not utopian. ऐसा हुआ है, मैं ऐसे स्कूल में I have lived in that school. Yes.
Right, right. So that's kind of a school you wish that we should have those kind of schools in India in the next 15 years. Right. So thank you, Chetna ji, for that. Now I would request Mr. Nitin Nakwal, if I may present this one to you. Nitin ji, this NEP offers a lot of flexibility, to students, in terms of choosing subjects. So you are a career planner. So how much confusion you find for students to select a career? Let's say one student chooses a music, physics and economics, let's say. So how big challenge it would be?
uh, it will not be a challenge. It will be more than opportunity than the challenge. Yes, confusion would be there. अभी ठीक है, नॉन मेडिकल ले लिया तो एक चॉइस है इंजीनियर, नहीं तो कुछ आर्ट्स वगैरह का कुछ भी कर सकते हैं, किसी ने इंजीनियरिंग नहीं करनी है बच्चे ने तो. बट यस से फिजिक्स केमिस्ट्री ले लिया, म्यूजिक ले लिया, साथ में अकाउंट्स ले लिया, अब क्या करें, राइट? तो इतना चैलेंज नहीं है. विद द हेल्प ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी वी कैन सॉल्व दिस प्रॉब्लम. फॉर एग्जांपल, अब मोर पोर्टल्स लाइक आर्स कैन कम अप, जहाँ पे सिंपली बच्चा अपने सब्जेक्ट चूज करे, उसके बाद फिल्टर लगेगा. एक टेक्नोलॉजी इज वेरी वेरी इजी. विनायक, यंग पीपल आर देयर, दे नो कि कितना बहुत इजी है. एक फिल्टर लगेगा, वो बता देगा अब इसके लिए आपके कौन कौन से करियर्स हैं, अब इससे रिलेटेड कोर्सेज कौन कौन से हैं और वो कौन से कॉलेजेस करवाते हैं. उन कॉलेजेस को आप शॉर्टलिस्ट कर लो, जिनकी एलिजिबिलिटी को आप पूरा कर सकते हो उनको शॉर्टलिस्ट कर लो, एंड देन यू आर गुड टू गो. बट द opportunities that it offers is humongous. I need not be constrained. अगर मैंने किसी भी कारण से कोई ऐसे सब्जेक्ट्स ले लिया, आई नीड नॉट बी कंस्ट्रेंड नाउ, जैसे पहले रहता था, अभी नॉन मेडिकल ले ली तो ले ली, या मेडिकल ले ली तो ले लिया, मोस्टली फिर पुश भी किया जाता था, कर लो एमबीबीएस कर लो, चाहे घिस घिस के करे बच्चा एमबीबीएस, चाहे घिस घिस के इंजीनियरिंग करे, डिग्री होल्डर तो हो बट अनएम्प्लॉयबल हो। ऐसा नहीं है, अब लॉट ऑफ फ्रीडम इज बीइंग गिवन एंड आई थिंक इट्स अ ग्रेट अपॉर्चुनिटी फॉर फ्यूचर जनरेशन।
Right. You say the opportunities are way higher than the amount of confusion it would offer. So thank you, Nitin, for that. Now I would request Vinayak, and that would be the last question for the day. After that, we'll go to the concluding part. So, Vinayak, how do you see the evolution of these co-curricular activities? In fact, this is perhaps for the first time, and I'm sure Thangaduri sir would put more light on that. But this is for the first time, perhaps in our life, that in some institutionalized way, the importance of co-curricular activities has been identified. So, how do you see the evolution of co-curricular activities or music in particular? That is number one. Second, how do you see that resources how schools are going to find right trainers or right kind of infrastructure, so what are your comments?
Yeah. Basically, the way co-curricular activities is evolving, I feel that it is very critical for a person to at least learn one of them to the core, because education can give you means to earning, but your co-curriculars can teach you a means to live. It can be a stress buster, means you can teach guitar to a child at school and he might not perform like AR Rahman, but as soon as he goes home after the stress of the entire day's work and the job, if he can just pick up a guitar, strum a few chords and sing a couple of lines, that will be such a big stress reliever in current day's environment. And as regards the challenge faced by the schools regarding the getting the trained instructors or the infrastructure, see, I believe setting up of the infrastructure for school is not a big thing because it's a one-time activity. Schools are generally prepared to do that. However, we as a company do assist in giving an entire infrastructure at zero cost. But where the challenge lies is the day-to-day maintenance of the equipment. Suppose if like schools have very stringent SOPs, we all know that. Uh, Suppose a guitar is being used by 20 students in a day, there will be likely the strings will break. And now the teacher has to write a letter to the principal regarding the replacement of the string. That letter will go to the accounts office, the funds will be sanctioned, and eventually that 100 rupee string will be gotten to the school for 15 20 days later. Till that time that equipment is lying idle. Similarly is the case for adapters, any kind of electrical stuff, because schools are so much worried about multiple other things. So uh, that is where the challenge lies, I feel, in how to either modify their SOPs or give it to somebody else to take care of these small things. And as far as getting skilled manpower is like, all B.Ed teachers we feel might not be very good in music, might not be very good in sports, might not be very good in let's say dance, but these are people who have followed their passion and probably have given lesser importance to education. So we should identify such talent, give them the requisite soft skills to come to the schools and teach within a school environment, and uh, then the dearth of manpower can be tackled, even by converting a very highly skilled dancer into a teacher. And like NEP has laid importance that we can communicate in the mother tongue and all and in that language. So the main barrier to communication is reduced now. So a teacher needs to communicate the subject matter well. Like a English teacher can communicate English, but a dance teacher does not have to make all the communication in English because he might not be even comfortable in communicating in English, or say a music teacher for that fact.
Right.
So I feel that we should identify these teachers, provide them with the necessary soft skill, train them how to adapt in a school environment, and then take it forward. I think we'll
Right.
not have any dearth of skilled
Right.
manpower as well.
Capacity building programs for teachers. With this, NEP also talks about that 50 hours CPD, and absolutely.
Yeah.
So thank you, Vinayak, for that. And with this, we come to the concluding part of this very special session. I would request all our speakers if we can have your concluding remarks. And before I invite our first speaker, I just would request you while sharing your concluding remarks. if you can also share some idea, some thought, you know, if you become the Minister of Education of our country, so what would be your priority? Let's say if your tenure is just for one day, so what would be your priority? What would be that idea that you would like to implement at any cost, as Minister of Education? So I would request Chetna ji, if I may begin with you. I'll choose people randomly so that you cannot fix your answers. So Chetna ji, I'm sure so your concluding remark, and if you get a chance to become Minister of Education, so what would be your priority?
Well, my concluding remarks is that in India there is a dearth of around um, there are 25 crores children going to school with about 15 lakh schools. तो हमारे पास करीबन 70% ड्रामा टीचर्स बहुत कम है. There's lack of 70% drama teachers and theater teachers. So I think NEP is a ray of hope. And Ministry of Education, I think मैं एक गाने के साथ ये बोलूंगी कि अगर मैं Ministry of Education में होती तो दबे पैरों से उजाला आ रहा है, दबे पैरों से उजाला आ रहा है, फिर कथाओं को खंगाला जा रहा है. सो उजाला आ रहा है और बिल्कुल आएगा, और पुरानी कथाओं को हम फिर से रिविजिट कर रहे हैं, रीडिफाइन कर रहे हैं. थैंक यू.
राइट राइट, पुरानी कथाएं तो हमने लॉकडाउन में रामायण से शुरू कर दी, खंगाली. राइट, सो वो खंगाली जानी शुरू हो चुकी है. So thank you, Chetna ma'am, for your time. And now I would request Nitin Nagpal ji, Nitin ji, your concluding remark, and what would be your idea as Minister of Education?
As far as concluding remark is concerned, thank you, Rajul, once again for making me a part of this. I learned a lot from Aditya sir, from Thangadurai sir, and from Chetna ma'am, Vinayak, everyone. And as Minister of Education, I would like to change syllabus जो है ना CBSE का थोड़ा बदलने की जरूरत है. I think Chetna ma'am is laughing. I think she agrees with me. काफी काफी practical वो नहीं है. आदित्य sir, I think practical learning नहीं है वहाँ पे, theoretical बहुत है. Syllabus needs to be changed, I guess. It's not.
Okay. So we'll take comments from Aditya sir and Thangadurai sir on this as well. Do we really need that kind of change in syllabus? So now I would request Vinayak. Vinayak, if we can have your concluding remark.
Basically, if I was the education minister for a day, I feel we need to clearly give a handbook of how to implement this NEP to the state level schools, the government schools, because private schools have the technical skill set, they have the resources, they have the manpower to understand this and implement this. But NEP 2020, if it's implemented in 2025, then the purpose of NEP is like redundant. So there needs to be a very simplified version, a handbook, step by step directions that would need to be given to the schools who lack this infrastructure and manpower to understand this. And I think it would be very helpful on the ease of the implementation of NEP, and the NEP implementation will be uniform in all aspects.
Right. In fact, Vinayak, the NEP is not something like that which will get implemented in just a day or in a year. It's a
Correct.
process, right? And it has already, it has already started. CBSE has already taken many initiatives. So it will go on. But how much we achieve that, like 80% achievement or 90% or 60, that is a question. Now, I would request Aditya sir, first that question, what kind of change we need in syllabus? So that's one thing. And your concluding remark, and what would be your idea as Minister of Education?
Look, the national curriculum framework uh, on which CBSE bases its syllabus, I personally feel it's very comprehensive. It has got nothing to do with the syllabus per se. It is how educational institutions unpack the syllabus. That same heat chapter in one school can be taught only on the blackboard by a demotivated teacher, and the same heat chapter can be taught beautifully by hands on experiential learning in another school. It is completely in the hands of the school management and the teachers of how they unpack the curriculum. The curriculum in itself is very, very comprehensive. That's my personal view. right? So I hope that answers your question.
Yes, sir, absolutely. I
Right.
agree with you. I agree with you. That is the
Yeah.
real case.
Yeah, the curriculum framework is very, very comprehensive. It's amazing. The thought process behind framing the complete curriculum. To your question about educational, if I become the education minister, two things. A, in 2012-13, India's educational outlay in the union budget, if I'm not mistaken, was around 3.3% of GDP. In 2017-18, I think so, it went up to 6%. Now, come to think of it, a nation's future is dependent on its education. And what we are doing is just 6% of the GDP. That is not enough. You have to pump in money in the educational sector so that we flourish. That's one. Having said that, you also mentioned about people being very apprehensive about school divides and will schools be able to do it, and private schools still doing better, government schools. We all know the kind of money that the government spends per child in a private in a government school. It is not funny. We have around 7,000 plus amount per month being spent by the government on a school, government school, and look at the output there. You know, at that amount, a child can study in a good private school with fantastic resources. Why can't it be happen there? So, if I were to become the education minister, accountability of these government schools, their accreditations, their audit, their performance, and non performance, how it is being accounted for. I think if the government gives enough importance to that sector, I think so NEP will automatically be implemented in the true spirit. So these are two things. And just one line that I want to add. You asked Chetna ma'am, what will you see? What would you like to see a school of future into 2035? If I had to answer, I will say 13 years from now, probably the first batch of students groomed in the vision of NEP will be passing out. So it'll be nice to see what they take back with them to the society and to the job market based on everything that the NEP envisions and implements on the way. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, sir, for that. And with this, now I would request, Thanga Durai sir. And before that, I'm sure Aditya sir, once you become the Minister of Education, you will be a strong administrator because you have decades of administrative experience. You know all those leakages. So you'll create a very strong that accountability
Hopefully.
environment. So with this, I would request Thanga Durai sir. Sir, over to you. Your concluding remarks. We would like to end the session with your blessings. And what would be your idea if you become a Minister of Education? Sir, you are on mute.
I beg to differ. I prefer to remain as an educator, not to become a minister for a day.
I'll change my question. Just change my question. So if you get a chance in an elevator with Minister of Education, and you have 30 seconds with each other, and
Well,
Education Minister, let's say, ask you, sir, please
I
give me one
think
idea.
I will not go in that thought process. Let me share my views. I prefer to remain as an educator. I think you are talking about change, and that change can come from at the institutional level. Okay. And as Mr. Aditya has rightly said, that the curriculum framework is a treasure within. I would say the curriculum framework is a treasure within. It has all, like UNESCO had said, all the four fundamental pillars, that is, learning to know, learning to do, learning to live together, and learning to be what you are as an independent person. It is a treasure within. We need to explore. And that exploration can happen when we go beyond the boundary of the framework and explore it in a manner that will suit the interest of the students. And here comes the NEP. I really appreciate the document. because it is, of course, it is just the beginning, but it has brought in a lot of a few changes already. And number one is integration of art in education. Now you talked about extracurricular activities. It's no will not be a no more a standalone activity. It will be, but it has to be integrated. There are integrated activities and integrated projects. The higher classes, they have to do the projects. Up to class 8, they are to be involved in activity. Activity calls for learning by doing. So the extracurricular activity will not be a standalone, it will be integrated. That's also started happening. Quite recently, though quite late, as a surprise, case based study, project based study, research based study is the option given by NEP. It may not be the framework of curriculum, but it is the treasure is there. You can't go beyond the boundary and explore. So, as an educator, yes, if you want me to say as a minister of education, I would emphasize on compulsory program of development of teachers. From there, I can take off. From top, I cannot bring down as an education minister. So, there should be a learning center in every school. It should be a part of the infrastructural requirement according to the board uh, inspection for affiliation. A learning center where teachers are not trained for for a while, but it should be a sustained training program to achieve a desired result. That should have been the result should have been put as a vision of the school. So, compulsory program of development as an educator, as a minister, and exploring the treasure within the curriculum would be what I would suggest.
Absolutely. So teachers training is the key.
Yeah.
The capacity development for teachers is going to be a key. So thank you, Thangadurai sir. I thank once again all the key speakers, Thangadurai sir, Aditya Chaudhary ji, Chetna Malhotra ji, Nitin Nagpal ji, Vinayak Sharma ji. Thank you for joining and making this 94th session a truly special session. Big thanks all of you. This is the end of the day, end of the session. Thank you all.
Thank you, Aditya ji, and everybody. Just
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Nice,
Thank you so much.
nice
Thank you,
interacting with
everyone.
all of
Thank
you.
you.